At the bypass meeting, they basically summarized the discussions before the mayor and council. There was discussion about the traffic signal at the intersection of Main Street and Kimball Drive East. There, and I'll review this with Mr. Frankel, they want to request the county look into approving the installation of that traffic signal, so it goes concurrently with the project. The borough has also received the freehold soil conservation permit, so the only two permits outstanding now are MCUA and the Army Corps of Engineers.
What would be the next step for that committee? What else are they doing for this bypass?
I'm sorry, Councilman Rittenhouse reminded me also the extension of Baymhurst Avenue to the bypass. That was discussed at the council meeting and referred to the police department. I believe the police had issued a report indicating they recommend that it be opened on an emergency basis. So that's something that's going to be further reviewed with Public Works. As far as the committee going forward, there was discussion at the meeting about the second phase of the project from Kimball East to Crosman Road, and we talked about layouts and planning for that. So I think it's just coordination on the next phase of the project. And they're also talking about having the O'Neill representatives make a presentation as to how the national lead development is going to connect to the bypass.
Do we have this already in our planning, in the master plan?
In the master plan.
The master plan does show the roadway extending out to the national lead property, yes.
So any changes, it would have to go through the planning board for?
Well, the planning board is just conceptual. I think the committee, from an engineering standpoint, we've been working on the design of the roadway and just presenting it to the committee. So other than getting general input from area residents on behalf of the committee, I think that's how they're assisting with the project.
Jay, if you don't mind, two questions. When is this section 1, when is that shovel ready?
We have the two permits that we have to obtain, the
Yeah.
Army Corps of Engineers, which unfortunately I can't give you a date. It's already been at the Army Corps level for a year since we received the DEP permit. So I don't know what the time frame is to receive that permit. And then also there's going to be some wetland mitigation that we have to go through and take care of. So
In your opinion, are we far enough along in this now that this could be turned over to planning to handle?
I'm not sure what you mean by planning. The
The
planning board
planning
really...
board to handle this from this point on.
Well, really, it wouldn't be a planning board issue at this point. It would be the mayor and council's. Once the permits are obtained, it'll be up to the council to proceed with the bidding of the project.
All right, is this, I feel like we're in a morass here. Are we moving forward or not?
It is moving forward, yes. At the last meeting, you authorized the second phase
Yeah.
to move forward, so in that sense, it's moving forward as well. The first phase is moving forward with the outside agencies on the permits. The second phase is now moving forward with design.
Yeah, if you can, keep us advised on permits then.
Sure.
I'd appreciate
Yes.
that. Thank you.
Now, just to again go back to the history of it, about 7-8 years ago, the council at that time decided to move forward with the Main Street bypass through funding from the state, and then somewhere in there, the Main Street bypass committee came about and made recommendations. I thought that was just for that first section, and I don't feel that there's really. I mean, we're spending money on meetings, and it's stuff that this council and the planning board. Well, the planning board has done already, and the council can do. So I just find that we're just spending money to spend money at this point.
What are we spending money on?
Meetings?
How? What money?
We have professionals that go to the meetings?
Yeah,
Do we pay them?
yes.
Right. So I mean,
Well, we have an engineer that goes to that meeting, then to the planning board meeting.
right. So
And
I mean,
are you
they're
saying
doing
you
great
don't, are
work.
you
That's
saying
it.
you don't want the input from the public? That's what you're saying?
Not at all.
That's
Absolutely not.
the only purpose of that committee?
Absolutely not, because when we originally had the Main Street bypass meeting, it was an open public meeting out here, and there was comments from the residents, and there was public comment when the master plan was put into place as well. So we always
Yes.
accept public comment. It's just a matter of, at this point, I mean, we have meeting after meeting after meeting, and I feel that it's just being held up for 8 years now, and you know,
The
it's
advisory
just a game
committee
that
is not
happens.
holding it up in any way, shape, or form. They're solely just giving input to the council on, that's all they're doing. They're not,
Once.
it's up to us.
We
Once
just had
they've
that
given
one,
once they've given input in 8 years. They came up a few weeks ago. That was it.
No, they've given input before, when Karen Surratt was the chair.
not in my 2.5 years here.
I don't ever recall her coming up and saying anything about it.
And I understand the best intentions here, I really do.
There,
You know, my understanding was that they were going, originally was to discuss where the cut-throughs would happen. That was done. We're moving forward with that. We're going on to the next section. You know, we need to move forward. I mean, the meeting after meeting, and I think it's just a waste of time. We have a master plan. This council is looking forward and trying to get this done, and I just feel that, you know, we can invite people up and have all the communication we want.
if they hadn't made that presentation, this council wouldn't have voted to go to Phase 2.
Absolutely not.
That's not true.
That is not
No,
true.
it's not
There's
true.
3 phases to this project.
Right, but the only one that was in operation is Phase 1.
Well, you can't do
Right.
phase 2 before phase 1. We were going right in phases. That's how the plan went. We've finally got to this point after, you know, Mr. Kaiserman years ago put a monkey wrench into this whole thing. And now we're sitting here many years later and roads being blocked up for hours because somebody put a fire and screamed fire in their neighborhoods, and all of a sudden we have to have a committee on it. Enough. We have the council, we have the planning board, we have public input. Let's move
And
forward.
we have the master plan.
What is the pleasure of the governing body?
Mayor, I would suggest that we thank the bypass committee for their work and dismiss them.
I'll second that.
Is that the consensus of, make a motion, Council President, and
I'll
we'll
make
vote
that
on it?
motion,
What is the motion?
that we, you know, again, at this point, thank the committee and tell them that the council is moving forward.
Moving forward in what way, Dan?
The Main Street bypass, get it done.
What are you going to do?
If I could answer that, we will look forward to getting information and the opinion of the public coming to a council meeting. Be glad to listen to them.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, what are you asking for in the motion?
I make a motion that we cease the operation of the Main Street bypass committee at this point.
Well, you really can't, because it's a mayor's board, it's a mayor's advisory board. So
So you choose not
So
to do that?
the motion you can make is, they are strictly an advisory board. You can vote to do whatever you want. If you want to vote to begin construction, then you can vote to begin construction.
We can't con-
This was,
We
this,
can't
no,
do
they
construction
they
because
have no power at all. They're strictly made up of the residents affected by the bypass, and they were created to advise on how, to control some of their destiny. That was the whole onus on the creation of that board.
Right,
They
and
were
and this coun-
advisor, they were people who lived in the area most affected by the construction of the road. And I created it so that those most affected could have input into, in some cases, they live in the back of Main Street townhomes. It's kind of wooded, and that would be changed. So they were very concerned about it, so I created an advisory board. They're a board without power. They're strictly advisory. So you can make a motion to just go ahead and build it if you want.
They are a board without power, but they are a board with a budget, I believe.
No, we just pay
no,
the engineer. We
no,
voted
it's-
to pay the
I think
professionals a number of years
I think
ago.
we've had a good time, and a great time learning about the bypass, but to the tune of, I've heard different numbers thrown around, $2 million here, if I'm
That was the
correct.
Borough Council spent that, not the advisory committee. Dave, I don't understand how you don't
I
don't
don't think we
understand
spent-
Here
that.
we go. We're going from, the council did that, but it's the mayor's board. It's
No,
the
no, all
mayor's
they're
advisory.
doing, they're just advisory.
Trust me,
That's
I
it.
haven't spent a dime.
Yes, you have.
May I ask something? Was this open space committee created by ordinance?
No, the mayor made a point.
No,
Mayor's advisory.
no,
Mayor Advisory Board, so there's no ordinance.
Right.
It was done by resolution? It had to
No,
be voted upon?
I did
No?
it.
There's no resolution, it was never voted upon?
I'd have to check and see.
no.
I don't believe.
It was
that
strictly an
ordinance.
advisory board to me.
I don't think the Main Street I do not believe the Main Street Advisory Board was created by ordinance and/or resolution.
Okay, well, I think what I'm hearing is that we're spending money on the engineer to go to these meetings, and, you know, maybe we should just take a vote not to authorize the engineer to go anymore and let them meet if they want to meet. If they've got questions, they can come to the public meeting and ask the engineer.
I think that's a great idea.
You understand these are the area residents.
No, I understand that,
Okay,
Mayor. It's
just as
just-
long
And
as everybody-
these are the area residents, and
Just
they,
as long as everybody understands it before they vote.
and they have gotten input into the first
Okay.
phase. We're gonna go on to the second phase now, and they'll have input when we talk about the second phase up here. They don't have to have a special meeting on it, or a special committee for it. They can come up here and discuss it.
Now, the $2 million has been spent on planning and permit application and reapplication. It has not been spent on sending the borough engineer
Oh, I understand that.
to
I never
these
said that.
meetings. On top of the borough engineer, they've had the representatives of O'Neill Properties there and a number of people from the DEP and other state agencies. So they've been very, very thorough over the years. Again, it's very important to them, it's where they live, and it will certainly be a change if it's built on the way they live. So, what is the motion that you wish to make, Councilman?
When they came in here, I thought they gave a very nice presentation, and they wanted to go ahead with Phase 2 and go ahead with Phase 1, start going for Phase 2. Everybody knows where Phase 3 is going to be, and they were all for doing, I got the idea they were all for doing everything, and simultaneously opening Bainhurst, applying for the light. I think they pretty much have said, go ahead with all of your plans. That's what
I don't know. Arthur, do you
Well,
have a
they can't
final
Sound
Yeah,
right.
recommendation?
That's
that's,
exactly what they said.
right.
Okay.
But also looking at the safety concerns that are involved, too. For example, if Phase 2 doesn't go through because of environmental issues, all of the traffic's going to come out on Kimball Drive East, which is then going to jeopardize school children because the Board of Education moved all of the bus stops off of Main Street onto Kimball Drive East. Therefore, you're going to have cars and trucks because the Planning Board and the Police Department recommended trucks go on the bypass. So you're going to have trucks, buses, and cars coming out on Kimball Drive East. And if we open up the other streets, those streets, Quaid, Baumhurst, coming through. What their concern that they issued were that if Phase 2 goes through, then that traffic would be going down to Crossman, and you could restrict it, which our ordinances do already, that traffic coming on those local streets. Yes, they were in favor of the entire thing, and there were people on that committee who were opposed to it in the beginning, but now understand the need for it, and that's what they emphasized, and that's why they made their presentation. But all they are is a voice to say that if Phase 2, for example, doesn't go through, there are a lot of safety concerns that those residents have.
And they can express them, and we have a traffic safety officer who addresses that on a daily basis. That's his job, is traffic safety. And if he finds that there's an issue, which has...
You
that
understand if
organization has
Phase-
brought to light, then they can discuss it.
Councilman, you understand if Phase 2 doesn't go through, essentially you're starting at River Road and going to Kendall Drive.
Right,
That's
and they'll
the
have that-
whole
all of
bypass.
those Where they have decided to have cut-throughs, the residents...
No, you understand if Phase 2 doesn't go through, it's not really a bypass, it's just a loop road.
Which also gives residents
You-
an access point out the back of their area,
Okay.
which they don't have now.
Can I
To
ask,
Kimball Drive East,
again, how
or
long,
to
Out the
Sayreville
out the Sayreville
Boulevard,
Boulevard.
either way.
how long has the bypass committee been in effect?
Since the beginning.
Yeah, I have no idea, before me.
It was
Before-
after,
Since John Wisniewski first brought the $10 million to Sayreville from Trenton.
2008,
2008.
and we approved it in 2006 or 7.
Well, there's been delays due to permit processing.
Well, originally it was delayed because of a overambitious candidate.
Yeah, reaching a bridge too far, yeah.
So what is the motion? Is there a motion?
I would suggest that there is no reason for the borough engineer there. I would dismiss the bypass committee and thank them very much for their work and allow the public to come here to voice their opinions.
Okay, Arthur, if you would have them come at the next meeting so that they can be thanked individually, and we'll go from there. Vote on what?
Read the motion.
It was not, it was, what is the motion?
I just
I'm still, what is the motion, Dave?
Okay. My motion is that we dismiss the bypass committee, thank them for their work. They've done diligent work. It's been going on since '07 or '08, and I think it's time to move it to the planning board and the
It
council.
doesn't go to the planning
Oh,
board,
wait
it
a minute.
goes to the
planning
governing
board
body.
And the council. And we find a way to get a shovel in the ground as soon as possible. And I might add, because anyone who's driven down Washington and Main Street during those hours of the day knows it's not getting any better.
Well, I'm just asking if
Well,
you
everyone wants to
understand.
build a better mousetrap, but as of
Understand-
right now, no one is building
Well,
anything.
finish. Have you concluded?
Thank you.
And I'll second it.
All right, under comments, I just want to make sure everybody understands that if Phase 2 doesn't go through, what we're doing is spending $10 million on a big loop from Sayreville Boulevard, River Road, to Kendall Drive and the Main Street townhomes. It does not really do a whole lot for the traffic, but it's a loop. So, a motion made and seconded. Are there
I
other
have
comments?
Yes. Also, when that goes there, if it's shovel-ready and it goes, when it comes out of Kimball Drive East and the development doesn't occur across the street, you're going to have people turn on Sayreville Boulevard or River Road, go to Kimball Drive East, at a stop sign where already 5 to 10 cars sit, or the Borough Council will pay the full price for the traffic light that's supposed to go there. If Mako builds, then they would pay for it, but if this gets done first, we will pay for that. So it's another additional cost to the taxpayers.
We're looking at 8 years since we began this.
I'm surprised the state
This
has
is
not
not the
started knocking on our
pyramids.
door asking for the money back already.
So, motion made and seconded. Are there any other comments? Roll call.
Mayor,
Even though action isn't supposed to be taken during the agenda, we like to break the rule. But roll call nonetheless.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
I just want to clarify this motion, if I may. The motion made by Councilman McGill was to dismiss the bypass committee, thank them for all of their work, and move that the project move before the council and planning board. Did I get that correctly?
Yes, except the council can't dismiss the bypass committee. Only I can dismiss it, but
That was what was said. Is that
right.
not what I heard, Mayor?
he can say what he wants to say.
Thank you.
Roll call.
May I make a comment? As much as I don't think that the bypass committee is probably that necessary anymore, I do agree this is the agenda meeting, and the motion should be to put it on the consent agenda for the next meeting, not to take a vote on it now. Sorry.
Well, a motion has been made, a motion is seconded. The person making the motion can amend it, and the person who seconded would have to re-second it.
Mayor, I will amend that for the next meeting.
Who seconded?
I will.
And-
What is it? I just want to be clear. What is it I'm
I'll-
putting on?
I'll make it clear. I'll make it clear. What the motion is to disband the mayor's committee and also to allow the matter to be brought before the mayor and council and planning board. The resolution will be on for the next agenda, which is May 11th. That motion was amended by Dave, and also seconded by Dan.
Now, the other part was that the council would no longer pay the bill for the engineer to attend the meetings. Am I correct or not correct with
No, that's
that?
correct.
That's correct.
So we will have a resolution on for the next meeting.
So, do we need to vote on this?
No, it's just moving to the
Okay.
consent agenda.
All right, that being said, is there any other thing, Councilman Buchanan, anything else?
Progress.
Okay, Councilwoman Kilpatrick.